It's Booker season, baby. So let's talk about the first book, first review of 13 for Booker 2024. And that's, of course, James by Percival Everett. Hello, book friends. Welcome back to the channel. Hello, if you are new. Welcome to Booker 2024, where I slowly descended to madness while I read every book on the 2024 Booker long list. I am currently sitting at 3 done. I read James prior to the list being announced, and I have the 4th one on the go. So we're going to batch film a couple of reviews. So subscribe, stick around if you want to see all my thoughts as I go through all these books. I was going to do a reaction to the long list itself, and then I said, no, I don't want to know what these books are about. I just want to dive in because I only got 2 of these right on my prediction video. And I want to dive in and I want to see what they're all about and give you guys my thoughts. And that's it. So we'll start off with the easiest one, which is James, Percival Everett. This was like the fan favorite. So happy to see it on here. A little mad that Praiseworthy is not also on here, but at least James is here. James deserves to be on this list. James does deserve to win, but also I've already read one book that I really, really, really liked that I hadn't heard of before. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know. Maybe James has some competition. But anyway, what is James about? So if you've been living under a rock, James by Percival Everett is about Huck Finn. It is a retelling, a reimagining of Huckleberry Finn from the perspective of Jim. It is a beautifully executed reimagining of a classic. This is my second Percival Everett book, and I am wowed by him again. I read The Trees a couple years ago when it was long listed. I've read this. I've got to go back into his catalog because I didn't realize how deep his catalog goes and read more. I think Erasure has to be my next one, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about James. Everett has this like really wonderful way of taking incredibly difficult, heavy, important topics, particularly around race in America, punctuating the really heavy moments with humor in a way that just makes sense and makes it much easier to read the story without getting weighed down in the heaviness, but doesn't detract from any of the importance of what he's talking about or trying to get across to the reader. And he's just brilliant, in my opinion. Jim is this wonderful character. He's incredibly intelligent. He's incredibly well read. He code switches back and forth. All of the slaves do. They, anytime a white person is around, they switch their vernacular into what they expect the white people to hear. And whenever they speak not like that and a white person hears them, they're like, pardon, excuse me, what? So he's playing a lot with code switching. He's playing a lot with the whole idea of reading and education and literacy and how dangerous in the best way possible it is to be literate, to be educated, to be able to read and write and expand your mind. And it's just so brilliantly done. Jim is constantly kind of in tension with Huck because Huck doesn't understand how getting Jim wrapped up in this whole adventure is incredibly dangerous for him. Jim is meeting all these people as they go down the Mississippi, and he's seeing all these things that allows the reader to see different ways in which Black people are treated in the South, different consequences to actions. We are on a steamboat. We are running away from slave catchers. We are in a minstrel band. The minstrel scenes are gut-wrenching, like gut-wrenching. And it's all done with that bit of humor that makes you just not absolutely collapse while reading this because it is so heartbreaking, but it's also so critical of white people, period, especially at this time period in this setting. And it's one of those stories where you're like, this, so much has changed, but nothing has really changed at the same time. We just call things differently. We frame things differently. But so much of the sentiment is the same. And if you set up things to allow for this kind of scenario, it would just repeat itself. History would just repeat itself. But anyway, but the ending of this with Jim and him claiming his identity at the end of the story, it's so good. It's just, I could not stop reading this. It's such a phenomenal book. You will not want to put it down. You're going to want to read more Percival Everett. I am so glad that the judges put this on the list. I couldn't imagine a list without James. But you know, you never know what they're going to put on these lists. But like this is definitely the one to beat in my mind. Oh, it's so damn good. I mean, I have so many highlights in here. It's so freaking good. And the fact that like everybody thinks, they just assume Jim is this idiot because he's a slave, and Jim is having these dreams where he's, you know, yelling at or debating with philosophers, and he's more educated than the people that are trying to be his master. And it's so freaking good. You're going to laugh, you're going to cry, you're going to have a whole roller coaster of emotions. I really hope this gets shortlisted at a minimum. I really would love to see it win the Booker. It needs to win prizes, lots of prizes. But anyway, so first I want to say thank you to Scrivener for sending me an early copy of this so that I could read it early. I'm so grateful for that. This was amazing. And then second, I want to say that we're going to do this like we did last year. I'm going to put up a running sort of list of how I'm ranking these. And then on the last video, I will give you my ranking of the books and then what I think the judges will rank these for the shortlist. But we're going to start here with James. This was phenomenal. Please read it. Buckle up. We've got 12 more reviews to go. I've got 12 of the 13 books. I'm waiting for an arc for Richard Powers, and fingers crossed I will get it. Come hell or high water, I will find a way to get that book so I can read it before it comes out, because it doesn't even come out until after the shortlist is announced. Stupid. Stay tuned. 2 more reviews to film today. I think this is going to be my Booker filming hat. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. See you in my next video. Bye.